DeFi is about freedom, and in this video I'm going to show you a tool that allows for some optimization regarding yield farming and applying more advanced strategies as well to your yield farming and playing around with DeFi. So Pendle is a tool that allows you to buy assets at discount, and you might wonder why and how is that possible in the first place. So the answer is that because of staking, some assets give you a different kind of yield, and maybe you don't care about the yield, but you want to have the principal, and this is how you can buy something at a discount where you buy it, but it's locked for 3 months, meaning that this yield that this asset would generate is actually discounted from the price. So for example, proof of stake Ethereum gives you a yield of around 5%. So it's only natural that this 5% could be discounted in a year from the price of Ethereum. Of course, there's a lot of risk here attached to how the price of Ethereum fluctuates in between and all other stuff, but basically this is the principle here. Because of this constant yield of 5%, you can discount that price by 5%. Same thing goes for tokens like Lux from LuxRare or Ape from Yuga Labs. So I'm going to show you how it works here. So Pendle is a tool for controlling your yield, and depending on how you want to hedge your risk, there's a bunch of tools you can do. Really cool stuff. So basically the main principle, the main idea here is that you can do yield tokenization. So whenever you try to earn a yield, you can think about that as having a principal. So for example, if you put one ETH into a staking, then there's a one ETH principal, but there's also the yielding part that gives you rewards. And thanks to this kind of having two parts to that, you can sell one part, you can keep the other part generating the yield, or you can actually just buy the yield giving part as well. And Pendle allows you to do exactly that. So this is yield tokenization. If it's complicated, I'm going to explain you in a minute because they have amazing tutorial. If you enter the app and click on learn, you will have Pendle's ultimate guide to become a profitable yield master, and it's really worth learning that and going through this tutorial, because this is some DeFi magic, and understanding that will really give you new concepts about how you can use DeFi to play to your benefit. So concept number one is basically yield tokenization, then fixing your yield, longing yield, and active yield trading, because you can actively farm for the best yield, jumping between fixed yield and volatile yield. Many different stuff is possible once you unlock this thing, that you can split your capital into principal part and the yield generating part. So let's start with yield tokenization. This is the example that they give. TLDR is that, for example, you want to stake 100 DAI into compound, and after 3 months this will be 100 DAI plus this will be the principal still, so the amount you staked in, but then there will be yield of like 1 DAI plus 0.5 comp tokens. So what they do in Pendle is that they divide that into two tokens. You have principal tokens, PTC DAI, and then you have yield tokens, YTC DAI. And after 3 months, those first tokens will be still 100 DAI. They will just you'll be able to claim those for free for 100 DAI. The other ones you'll be able to get from them 1 DAI and 0.5 comp, and this is the yield. But the cool part here is that of course, principal tokens, you can redeem the principal amount after maturity, so that would be locking for 3 months. But for the yield, you can redeem that for the reward continuously, even before that. Meaning that, of course, you won't get the full reward. Then you will get just the amount that is proportionate to that, but you can redeem anytime, which gives you some kind of continuity, and maybe you can also do other stuff if you want to with that. So this is basically how you divide the main asset into principal and yield tokens. This gives you also ability to really do cool stuff. So there are more examples, for example, with Steve, so staked ETH in Lido and LuxRare tokens. And as you can see, Again, you can divide into principals that can be redeemed only after maturity and yields that is continuous and can be claimed anytime. And this is a cool example as well. There are a bunch of things that you can do with PT and YT, and the cool stuff really is that you can actually buy someone's YT or PT without actually buying the token. So for example, if you want to have assets at a discount, so for example you want to buy something like ETH with DAI, but you don't care about, you want to have the lower price and you don't care about the timing that much, then maybe you can buy 3 months into the future by buying the PT, and this is how you will get the discount, because PT ETH tokens will always be cheaper than the ETH tokens themselves because of this time component. Also, maybe you don't care about the asset, but you want to have the highest yield. And in this case, you will be looking for YT tokens that will give you the highest yield. And there are some cool examples with Frax stablecoin and a bunch of other stablecoins that allow you to really maximize the yield. In this case, you don't care about holding the token, you only care about how much yield that can generate on your dollar, and you're only buying the yield generating part. Of course, that is risky because that gives you only the yield often is variable, so you don't really know how much you will earn in the end. So this is example with what you can do with PT and YT. Before maturity, you can mint, you can redeem PT 1T for 1 Steve, and after maturity you can claim accrued yield and can redeem assets 1-to-1 for PT holders without the yield. So this is a good example. There's an equation at the end, and then in number 2, it's fixing your yield and how you can do PT trading. So for example, in this example, 1 PTC DAI is at 0.9 DAI, so you get this 10% discount if you wait for a year until you get it, and it should be traded lower. So this is the example here, and there's also lessons on why you should buy PT in the first place. So there are 2 considerations: your prediction of the average future yield from now until the maturity, and given the prediction, is current fixed yield good enough to lock in? So it's all about the timing, and generally using Pendle and playing this kind of game, it's really all about timing, and there are different ways to maximize your profits here. So they put it in levels and those kind of lessons. But those points are really great. And even if you don't want to use the Pendle, really go into the detail here, because this way you will learn a lot about DeFi itself, and it will teach you how you can use some of those strategies in your own DeFi playing. So usual motivations for selling PTs. So just the principal tokens are exiting the position to move capital somewhere else, or PT price has increased significantly and there is an opportunity to take profit early. That is known as active yield trading, and we will discuss this later on. Because the asset might grow in price itself. So this is how it works in practice. You might want to buy a maturity Steve for the maturity of 1st January 2024, 30 a year, 365 days, and then there's the long APY and fixed APY, and you can have 2 tokens. So PT Steve will cost 0.94 Steve, and underlying APY 5%, fixed APY 6.4%, and if you buy 100 PT Steve for 94 Steve, you'll be able to redeem them for 100 Steve 1 year later. So you really bought at a discount here on the market. So you don't really care about the fluctuations in price of the ETH itself or of the Steve. You just have this free 6 Steve all together after 1 year. So this is really good when it comes to fixed rate of returns, because this gives you 6.4% fixed APY, and this is how you do it. Of course, you can do some leverage and longing yield trading, which is even more advanced strategy here. So for example, this is the summary of what will be happening here. Let's say one YT Steve is trading at 0.0 Steve. Remember, those tokens are yield giving tokens, so they will give you yield continuously with a maturity in 1 year, meaning they will give you for a year they will be giving you yield. So holding one YT Steve token gives you right to receive the yield on one Steve until maturity. And people think that one Steve will generate more than 0.04 Steve yield in 1 year, equivalent to 4% APY, and chooses to buy one Steve because people basically wants to leverage the fact that maybe those rates will go up. Here people profits as the future yield that he accrued is greater than the price of YT Steve when he purchased it. People was basically longing Steve yield, and this is the second yield trading strategy. So actually he bought it at 0.0.4 and yield turns out to be 0.0.5. Of course, you can always do the other way, meaning if you guess wrong, then basically you earn less than what you would expect from coming from the yield. So when you should long, really great lessons here. How can you predict the APY? So there's a bunch of statistics as well. And this is really cool. So as you can see, there's a lot of thought going into that depending on what you can do. The cool thing is that you can even go to actively yield trading. There are not many people doing that, and this is very interesting. So you can start yield trading on Pendle, chasing the highest yield, but also looking at the prices and sometimes buying undervalued yield that you can use. So altogether, this is it for Pendle and a short introduction into what you can do. Definitely have a look at the app. If you click on the market, let me show you the market because that was all about the tutorial. If you look at the market, then basically this is what you see. You will see the tokens, you will see the yield, the long yield, the fixed yield, and you will see how the prices for how much you can buy a given token. So the current price of Steve is basically $1,628, and that's split between the PT token, so principal, and the YT token, the yield token. So $28 goes here, 1,600 goes here, and this is how it's connected. If you want to buy one of those tokens, you can click on that and you'll be taken to the Steve. Now this is cool because you can either mint those or you could directly buy them on the market. So again, you don't have to mint your own tokens. You can, for example, buy yield tokens on the market, and those tokens also have their own charts, which is really cool. So this is it for this video. Really, I invite you to go at Pendle and see for yourself. This is more advanced yield farming strategies. DeFi is definitely about freedom, and if you're looking for that freedom, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I cover a lot of DeFi protocols, new blockchains, new airdrops, new NFTs, and much more. So subscribe and see you in the next video.